So the one I got is 3.5% alcohol. That's more than beer, right? There's a reason they keep the alcohol in it. Because they like to capture alcohol. No, let me out, please. I don't want to be a drink. You will be a drink. So what's the reason? Most beer in my country have at least 4% alcohol. Since I don't drink beer, I have zero idea what the average amount of percentage alcohol in beer is. Average alcohol percentage in beer. The average alcohol content of pale lager is around 4.5. So yeah, it's basically in the normal range. So it's usually between 4 to 7% when it comes to beer. Well, we have a bunch of similar alcohol brands like Strongbow here. Spy is one of them, next is Cruiser, vodka. How does vodka have only 4.5%? That's basically like taking an entire glass of water and then like drop two drops of vodka in it. That's basically the only way I can imagine that you bring down vodka to 4.5%. That's how they advertise the drink. We took flavored water and dropped 2 drops of vodka in it. Yes. So we can sell it as beer. Well, we don't actually need vodka here because we have rice wines, which are on a similar level of worse, right? In rice wines. Isn't rice wine like on par with sake? I mean, sake is rice wine, right? Yeah, there we go. Sake is rice wine. Japanese rice wine, 15%. Chinese rice wine is 14 to 20. And Korean rice wine is 10 to 25. And most other regions in Asia have 10 to 25. Tried sake before, but not rice wine though. If you have tried sake, then you had rice wine. Certainly rice... Look, sake is Japanese rice wine, so therefore you drank rice wine. It's just specifically from Japan. Well, I guess there is always the exception, right? You can always make like an alcohol more percentage-wise. Just remove more water from it. And if not, just mix in a stronger alcohol with it. I don't know. It's like, I think like, for me, when I drink alcohol, I will be affected by alcohol pretty fast because A, I don't really drink alcohol Like, I only rarely drink alcohol on occasion. Because it's like, it does like mostly nothing for you. Like, it's only going to attack your liver for no reason. But if you drink responsibly alcohol when you drink, and if you only drink occasionally to rarely, then alcohol is okay. It's only then a problem when you make it a habit of drinking it on a regular basis. I don't like the taste of alcohol that much. I understand that. That's why I mostly buy the ones with fruity flavor. Coffee, that is so gay. And that's absolutely alright. Because I agree with you, I also like the alcohols that are more on the sweet side. So I don't mind sake, because sake has a slightly sweet note. Sake is also dangerous because you can easily drink it. Like, if it's not like an upfront in-your-face punch sake, then it is easy to drink, especially when it's warm. Like the sake itself, like warm sake. I occasionally, like on occasions, I drink wine, because I don't mind wine. Wine is okay. The most, like, here's a general rule. The most purest alcohol you can drink is vodka. So if you want an alcohol drink that's on the stronger side, but is going to be the least negative affecting your system alcohol, go for vodka. But drink it responsibly. You will also get the least amount of hangover from drinking vodka, by the way. I'm absolutely no fan of beer at all. I don't understand why people are like, yeah, beer. And I'm like, no. Like, beer is just bitter and just, ugh. It's also carbonated, and I don't like carbonated drinks to begin with. Because I see no reason why you should carbonate a drink. It gives you nothing. It's just stupid. So yeah, I most likely would drink Baileys. Baileys is like whiskey, but with heavy cream in it. But it is also on the sweeter side. So I think Baileys is one of my favorite alcoholic drinks that I have, where, say, like that, I can drink always. No problem. But yeah, I also like cider. Despite that, I just said, like, carbonated drinks are weird. But cider, yes. I don't mind cider at all. Like, I'd rather drink cider than drinking beer. Like, I'd rather have, like, people drink beer around me and I drink a cider, which basically looks like beer. I just drink one can 1 or twice a month, just for the sake of telling people that I do drink alcohol. I always tell people I don't drink alcohol and they go like, huh? The only time I consume sake is during New Year's, when I visit my local sushi place. The chef offers free sake for regulars. That's nice. I also drink a ton of water in between, so I don't know what hangover is. I haven't heard of Baileys for years. Didn't know Baileys still exists. Oh, yes. It's not gonna go away. Like, Baileys is a world trademark. It's like, they will never stop. People like Baileys. So much talk about alcohol. But yeah. I would say, like, mostly when it comes to higher percentage alcohol, either I drink Baileys or vodka. Of course, being a furry among furries, and furries are like, we gonna destroy every alcohol that exists in our vicinity. That's how furries work mostly. They also are very invested in making alcoholic drinks. So it's pretty hard to turn down someone who is like, hey, I mixed this, have one, it's really amazing. I'm usually like, but I usually also give in. So yeah, I'm not against trying out new things. But yeah, if you don't want to have a hangover from drinking, then literally drink in sips. Yes, like coffee, like you said, also drink enough water in between. Here's another trick that also works. Point 1, don't drink on an empty stomach. Eat something before that. Point 1. Point 2, when you are drinking, the best thing you can do is also like eat some condiments in the form of like pickles and similar things to that, like these small onions, like these small onions that are also pickled. Like pickled, eat pickled stuff in between when you are drinking alcohol. Okay, it doesn't work much for beer because people usually do not do that with beer. But if you drink like harder alcohol, drink water, eat some pickled food in between, only drink on a stomach where you already ate something beforehand. If you do all of that, and if you're still worried about a hangover next day, then take some, at least, like, take some multivitamin before you go to sleep. And the chances of a hangover the next day is almost zero. You can also eat pickled radish, it doesn't matter. If you eat like pickled food while you're drinking harder alcohol, it will help you to deal with it. That's basically what most people do who know what they are doing. But yeah. And then again, you have the alcohol effect. One, you're getting more social, you're getting more silly. But then, in the end, you will fall into two categories when it comes to alcohol. Either you become emotional in a good or bad way. Like, there's category 1, you become emotional, which means you either become more depressive or you become more angry. Like, your emotions will be like on the extremes. That's the one category of person. The other category of person is the opposite. You actually become more tired. I just go sleep when I'm drunk. Yeah, so you're in the second category. I'm also in the second category. I always say, like, if I'm drinking and I have nothing to do, like no socializing or just do things, and I just sit there and drink, then I become extremely tired and I just go to sleep and go like, But it's better to be in that category than the category of being over emotional. That's how it is, right? Now I can set a second marker for my game. Another stream marker. Welcome to Ace Attorney again, as we try to see any kind of sense in this case. I also put like a wonderful title for this. It's like, gosh, by the queen of fish and chips, them dandy is bloody posh. What? Yes, that's my streaming title. Anyway, let's see where this is going. What on earth just happened there? Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened. Miss Susato. I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke. That's what a smoke grenade name implies. A smoke grenade? It sounds like some sort of thing ninjas use. Yes. They're just making sure everything is safe now. I think the trial will start again before long. Isn't that the same thing? Yes. But who would have done something like that? The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently. Flee the courtroom? Why? Because everybody fled the courtroom? I don't know. Seems a bit far-fetched. Just slap a fancier name on it. Right, it's like pomegranate, where it poms when it grenades. Well, well, it's a young girl of around 15, I hear. A young girl? And could it be the other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about? My thoughts exactly. And that is surprising, considering that I don't know how to think. Pomegranate, yes. So he wasn't lying. Oh, what has become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here. I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions. I will now ask you questions. Along with the young girl. Sounds sussy. Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here in the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself? There's another matter that's troubling me. What is that? The 20 pence. Huh? According to the coach by Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at the fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. I can do math. I am improving. I have created 1 brain cell. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers. Which means the figures don't seem to add up again. Yeah, she's right. That is strange. Right, because this is the major problem. 5 pence. Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes. What is this accent? Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away. I can't. I have to go in gay. Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial. Susato, why do you have such a terrible voice? We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato. Hi! Yeah, I know. Why are you typing all these things so slowly? Stop. There she is. She doesn't look like 15. Excuse you? There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused this disturbance before. Oh god. No, it's the judge. Well, after that rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Mancy. Lord. I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier. Here we go. We go full Japanese. All the bullshit at once. It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade of the sort typically employed by the army. Good gracious, the army? What in the devil's name? How are we going through this again, by the way? Through what? It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught. The bomber. Because it just happened? And now occupies the stand. Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such a pandemonium here in the courtroom, which is also my summoning? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior? You go on my naughty list. Ahem, if I may, my lord. Yes, Mr. McGilded? I think perhaps I ought to explain here why it is that this wee lass was here in the first place and why she treated to bolt like that. This all tied up with the events of that night, so it is. Very well, Mr. McGilded, give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case. Just what did happen that night? It's not like a defense lawyer needs that information or anything. No, we don't need information. We are past information. We are now Google. We don't need informations anymore. We can just predict the future now. AKA, we are literally Komorebi. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, Begora! Begora? Is that a summoning? A new summoning in Final Fantasy XVII? Then Begora, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me And then I saw the knife. Then I turned out to find out where the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. I think I'm changing his voice here and there, but it's okay. I remain somewhat... What is this voice? Ho ho! I remain somewhat baffled, I confess, but from what I gather, on that night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct? Is exactly as the defense counsel said. This lass was the 5th passenger, my lord. No, very well. Why is this voice? I need to get back into this. Creature noises. I bought a new package from Burn Dragon. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. Are you ready, counsel? Are you ready? Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I've no idea where to start. ... I didn't question. I took the back seat on the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Let's press. And when you first got on the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty and there was no one on the roof deck either. You were the first passenger, as it were, I see. Aye, and that is why I took the back side as I did. This is the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, this is how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite the one which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, this the most comfortable where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. ... Then the grand loud thunder scream wake me up from my start. Press. A loud thought, you say, and a scream. Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? It was like the sound of someone falling to the ground, that sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor having been stabbed? Well now, you will remember I was asleep at that time, so I wouldn't like to say. And then the sound woke me and I opened my eyes. There wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but the fellow on the floor. You didn't see anyone. But at the same moment, you did hear a scream. Ah, from the seats above? You on the roof deck, I presume? Not above, me lord. No, it was from inside my cabin. But I wasn't altogether tinkering about the screen. No, I was too stunned. I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. What is this dialect even? The fellow collapsed on the floor on my feet, so I sat him up on the seat across of me. I ignored casually the knife in his belly, it's fine. Hold it! You set him up? The victim, you mean? That I did, on the seat across from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lying on the floor now, would you? Yes, I would. Because person dead, and touching that is like the worst idea ever. These common courtesy, so it is. You what? I find that hard to believe. Ara? 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 Are we now going into Fluff Kevlar's universe? Ara, Lord Van Six. Now why would that be? You awake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business. The business of lending money to an at exorbitant rates of interest. Unfortunately, me lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me there. So I do try, where all at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens alive, no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only I had a mind to find out the whys and wherefores first. Whys and wherefores? Wherefores. Wherefores. What is a wherefore? Is that an advanced subspecies of werewolf? Right you are. There was some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got the meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes, the scream. He says that he heard the same time as the thought of the victim collapsing. And I turned out to find out the scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? Hold it! I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir, so I did, as far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Oh, now, it's a queer thing. It's a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. And don't misunderstand, the original meaning of queer means weird. Strange, weird. The fuck is this English? Is there a whole another part that they don't teach in school? I would say it's more towards older English, where you would just build different kinds of sentences and words. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside. He farted. Good gracious, you farted! You farted? And when I lifted the seat on which I've been sitting, I found there was a wee cubby hole there for storage. Mr. Naruhodo, we can examine the omnibus ourselves, remember? Yes, of course, the whole bus was submitted as evidence. We don't need to do that. We already know that there was this storage. I don't want to do this again. This would be a very good time to have a thorough look inside. No! Indeed, one a food here. There was a child in there all caught up and all hiding her wee self away. Grace. You say she was hiding herself? Aye, that's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight, but she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our ears met, well, me heart nearly stopped beating in me chest. You're really overacting this. Still and all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. What the heck is a chin wag? Is that the motion of speaking? Like because you move your chin when you speak, so they call it chin wag? This guy is killing me. He's like destroying my faith in the UK even more. Seat opposite. All the devs are just taking the piss. That's also a funny saying from the UK. He's taking the piss. It's like, what are you talking about? I know what it means. You don't have to explain to me. I just find it so stupidly funny because it's so dumb. It's the same thing when UK people go like, oh, bloody hell, or like, bloody wanker. And I'm like, bloody wanker is not an insult in any shape or form. This is just how British people talk. Yes. Of course. Only when they are not public speaking. Like, I love you all, my friends, my people. And then they go backstage and goes like, God damn bloody damn dimwits and dandy talkers. That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there. He's so happy about it. You said this young girl next to a corpse, sir? That's what he just said. Do you not listen? Are you like... Well, as I mentioned, a gentleman in me position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So, I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And while I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream, another fellow's voice this time. Presumably that's the scream. That scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck seats. Right you are again, I would say so. Looking down through the skylight, we must have seen the young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly. In other words, the previous witness did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilden. This is just how... No, okay, that... I already read that. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason. Which is strange, because when we saw the flashback, the picture of it at least, it was like someone in a gentleman's coat. This person here doesn't have that at all. She looks different. So I kind of doubt this entire story. Aye, me lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage out of sight. It is certainly plausible that the defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature. Just call her short. My god. And readily confused perhaps with this young girl. After that, of course. With the scream from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses. Thank you, I've heard enough. You are guilty. The events, as explained, are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Conundrum. Who is this girl? Thank you, Bob. I shall do that. Her name is Gina Lestrade, me lord. She's a dancer, earns her crust among the large crowds, the living people of their purses. She's a thief. What's commonly called a pickpocket. What? This girl here? A petty thief? Well, why is this strange? Like, a lot of children were thieves back then in London. Unbelievable. Oh, God. I don't understand. I want a hot dog. I don't want a croissant. Order! Order. Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade, you will answer the question. Let me guess. She's a mute. Jesus, what the fuck? Okay. Uh-huh. Yeah, okay. I mean, it's understandable. Everybody has like a weapon in this court, which is totally normal. She has a paint gun. How dare you? What is the meaning of this? No. The girl, she is gone. Open your eyes. I'm over here. I'm over here. Good gracious, oh. What's the point in that little sidestep? I know what you're lot. I know what you're lot thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She's got herself back into a corner, and she's knifed the kitchen. She knifed the gen. Go on! That's what's in your heads, ain't it? Not at all. This is court of law. We're here to determine. Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need is what I do with these fingers. Interesting. How about you get 3 years older and we talk? I'm a professional, alright? Maybe you're not in your eyes, but you got pride in what I do. I guess you don't count smoke guns among weapons of for thugs. Oh, this? Yeah, this is a bag. This was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the 4-wheel drags. It's nice, innit? I like the pink best. Innit? So British. British. Oh, do not wipe that thing in my direction again. So, You admit that you were riding the omnibus on the night in question? It's alright, Les. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. It's just like the Irishman said. The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Put her in the inventory. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on that night in question. Alright, if I have to. So, I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. Hooked up the horses. But it was right. But it was a right old ways old time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. It's pitch in there. It's not pitch black, it's pitch in there. You know what? To some degree, how she talks, how he talks is like literally like ancient Gen Z talk. Then after a while, I hear a loud bang. Nearly chomped me out the skin, I did, and scream just came out. It's because, oh dad, this swell found me. He did help me to get away, mind. If someone talked like that, I would be constantly like, huh? Huh? Yes, he let you go. Huh? Huh? I fail to understand why you would let this street urchin go, Mr. McGilvert. Oh, this simplicities itself, me lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passengers. I knew that for a fact. Me. There you go. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. It was sitting right up on the place where she was hiding herself. I think a demonstration is called for. This is where I sat that last night, and the chubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Oh god, it's the church. And the cubby hole of which you have spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes, does appear to just large enough to accommodate someone of this girl's stature. Look, I don't understand. Why did she even do this? This makes no sense. So, if she tries to pickpocket people, it makes no sense that she goes in here, because people can sit on this. If they do, she cannot get out. So, if she wants to steal money from people, why even put yourself in here? Like, it makes no sense. She could just pretend. Like, she could hide herself first, wait until the carriage starts to drive, and then get out of here, set herself on top of the seat, and pretend to be an already riding guest. And then she would have the opportunity to steal money from other guests. So this has like a huge loophole. Like there's so much in it that makes no sense. Aye, but of course the wee lass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration. Oh. You see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her, they would automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined when all the time I knew she was innocent. Even though you must have realized your action would have resulted in your own innocence being called in question. Not at all, my lord, not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking the punt on my own good name for the sake for this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman. My lord. This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever doubting you, sir. Good job. Men make it man. Every corrupt person knows that. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Saints alive! There are no saints alive, they are all dead. All 6 members of the jury consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty? Mr. Naruhodo, this, well, it must mean what? That we are victorious. You mean I'm victorious? We are. I am. You are. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Thank you. Oh God! It's phase 3. Leggies time. Why is he putting his leg on the table? What is this? Stretching time? Stretchies for leggies? Can I have that leg? The leg, or do you want him to actually like put his leg that way on you? Either side of my iron-heeled Wellington offense, pray do forgive the discourtesy. This really is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in the British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion. The witness' latest statement gives us a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by the officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment number under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It is noted in black and white in the police report. Good Lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilded's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Nanny? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been affected, counsel? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. Call it police. Good Lord. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you have examined it in fine detail, as you would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. And yes, there were stuff in there. Pray, what did you find in the condition of the underseat compartment to be? To be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead. You tell the court now, fella. Oh, this is all an elaborate excuse. An elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Seas. Well, counsel, do you have something to say to this matter? We looked at it, and there was stuff in it. Why is he even doubting himself? I'm supposed to answer. What can I say about the state of that little compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember at least, when I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside, yes. Are you sure, counsel? Ara, be whist. What is be whist? I mean, this is his first case after all. His very first case. What are you saying now, you deaf door? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? Your task is to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Because it is the truth. If you defend someone who is actually guilty, then it is not wrong to prove that. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. And he can't say anything against that. Interesting. He's not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget where you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. A fella's memory is a curious thing and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there's the cubbyhole under the sea, as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? She took everything out. In the confusion before, when there was this giant smoke bomb, she used that to empty the compartment. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here? I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The Guild's rules state that the omnibus should properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. Beppo isn't that irresponsible. That money-lending fleezer and the big purse are lying. And he's going to change his opinion. Ah. I can't believe it was nearly taken in. The stinking rich always stinkers, nothing but cowards, a lot of them. What? Oh no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick. Quite so. I must concur here. Why are we doing this? This is a waste of time. Like, the case should just go, and in the end the jury makes the decision. It's like, what is this in between, back and forth, like wasting our time? With a calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. Me lord, I humbly exhibit the skills of justice. Clearly a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate. Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please. Yes, me lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Baileys is at work, it would seem. Snuck into the carriage before they opened up the horses, just like always. Hold it! So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run. Well, yeah. I mean, what's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob there? That's the run idea, innit? What's the point of spending a joey to make a few bob? That's a rum idea, innit? This is too British for me. I don't understand the word. I don't know what... A joey? I can think it means journey. To make a few bob. I guess bob means money. That's a rum idea in it. AKA, it's a drunken idea. What is this? Why is British like that? I suppose she means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense. Oh, okay. Council, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants. Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making 20 to which the caveman testified. And 1 little scapegrace riding for free. The red conch of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, you see? So that's when I slip into the carriage and let myself in under the seat. Nice and easy, aye? But your hiding place is a storage compartment full of equipment and for the coach, no? Yeah, there's brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck all that out and cram it in a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much. And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia. Paraphernalia. What a word. Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could under the seat. That's all I can tell you. Could hide under the seat. It seems we've reached the end of the line of inquiry. Continue. It was right, old ways of time got nothing to show for me in the last drop of the night. Blah. A waste of time. Why is that? Well, most nights I'm on me own, and my GAAC permit at least some odd the time. Me own in the GAAC permit at least some odd the time. What? I beg your pardon? Did you say GAAC permit? Oh yeah. Well, that's what I can't call it. You would say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, any normal run, the carriage ain't got no one in for a while. That's when you come out of your hiding place and get away. That's it. Only that night. Ah, so she didn't go on the omnibus to steal money from passengers, she just wanted a free ride. This cove was a seat. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. This cove was sat on me seat from the start. What? And he didn't even budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck. Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat for the entire time while the events unfolded in the enclosed cabin? Yeah. Right, mister? To be sure, I was shocked as anyone. You don't expect to leave the cushion you've been sat on and find a child, you know? So Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then. tell you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's patch in there. So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all? Not a job. Most days I push the cushion up with me and look out the crack. But then have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. What? And then I can have a butcher's at who I'm gonna fiddle. British people, stop! But you were a pickpocket, not a butcher. That's not what she means, you... I mean, I can overlook. The seats get under ain't as pull... What? I mean, I can overlook. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other one, see? So most of the time, the passengers planned themselves opposite. But for some reason, that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head. But for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out, I see. Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink. I'm gonna find British language and strangle it with the spoon. But it's the only place to hide in them carriages, so it's Obson's choice. What? Doesn't she just stick to the picking people's pockets in the open then? Which I'd say there's some reason to that she's not letting on, judging from her demeanor. So anyways, I was a bit scared, bit scared, but I had just to stick it out under there, nothing else for it. And after a while, a ear loud bang nearly jumped out my skin. I did, and a screaming just came out. When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor? Could have been, I suppose? I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump. And you let out the scream involuntarily. That's right. And when I felt the cushion over me, it get lighter all of a sudden. Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment when the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not? Well, girl, did you see what happened in that crucial moment? Yeah, I saw it. He pushed up the cushion and had a quick butchers while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up the bloke what had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilder's account, of course. But then, the fella suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should have never have risked looking. Because of that, as this well found me, it did help me get away mine. And when Mr. McGilder discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place? I was scared stiff, I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all. Next to the victim, Mr. Mason? Yeah, the bloke had the knife in its had, yeah, the bloke at, yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit and he ended up falling onto me. How awful. Both me and got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog. Both her hands covered in blood. Must be what the rooftop passenger saw. After that, I believe you talked to Mr. McGilded for a while, is that correct? He asked me some stuff. Wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. And then he heard something from above. Someone screamed. Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume. Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. Then horses were drawn up smartish and this Irishman says to me, get back onto the seat. We'll see that you can get away later. All six members of the jury had decided that the defendant was innocent. For one brief shining moment, yes. It's clear that they are still very unsure. If we just could find some conclusive piece of evidence among this new testimony, I'm sure we could clinch the verdict we want. So I think you're right. I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me, but I just can't quite put my finger on it. You know, if this is true, these people make me regret learning this language. They shouldn't make you regret learning this language because this is one of the best languages you can learn. Because it's one of the most universal languages on this planet. It's good that this kind of language, this kind of English is not existing anymore, at least to most parts. Like there's still like some slang English language, at least in the UK, where you literally just sit there and go like, the fuck? Yeah, but this also means that I will be associated with people who speak like this. And you also speak Vietnamese, so you're getting associated with every Vietnamese person. And I'm pretty sure in Vietnam you have people who also speak like slang and weird dialects that nobody understands. So it's not much different. Actually, let's save. It's like I haven't saved that in a long time. Yes, they do. See? No reason to drink bleach. So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up. The horses just like always. I don't see how we can present anything here. You know, the weirdest part is this. So, if this all is true, if this whole story is true, then it's weird, right? Because now she has 2 bloody hands, and he tells her, go back under the seat so you can escape afterwards. Wouldn't it be strange that there would be no bloody prints inside the compartment? Because there are no bloody prints in the compartment. So how did she get rid of this? Like, how did she clean her hands? Bold of you to assume I need a reason to drink bleach? Yes, it is bold. Also, you're not an American, so Therefore, I have a point here. There's nothing in this. Nothing to show for me troubles that night. What about... What about this? This is quite pricey, and it was the murder weapon. So what about this?
Objection!
The witness' last statement is clearly at odds with this piece of evidence. Okay, it was wrong. Not going to risk my points. Damn, you're right. Bleach is useless here. Yeah. Just drink delicious soup instead. It was right, all waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's much in there. There's also nothing speaking against that. And after a while, a loud bang nearly jumped out of my skin and the scream just came out. Because of that, this well found me. It helped me get away, mind. I have no idea what to do here. I really don't know what to put here at all. I mean, we can't. The 50 million timex. Shut up. Nobody needs this talk. Okay, now we see that there's blood on the floor, so yes. The thing is true. That he got stabbed and fell on the floor, so that is correct. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, they talk about the seat just because this dumb thing is not exactly on the handle. Storage compartment, there's nothing in it, it's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here, but I can't put my finger on it, what it is. Don't see how I really don't see anything of use here. Magnifying glass, because yeah, we're gonna find something specific here. I don't know what to make out of this. Like, the only thing I can say is like this. Like, he was stabbed with this specific knife, but that knife is also very fancy, therefore, it even says it must be quite valuable. So that's the only thing that I see as an evidence in here. But it was a right all waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I presented the blade at this point and they said like, no, that's okay. Like, is it? I'm thinking that hiding place, it's pitch in there. I'm gonna try this, but I don't feel like, I think.
Hold it! Well, no.
And now he reacts. He didn't react the first time. Hello and welcome back, Vilnius.
Excuse me.
Something wrong, Mr. McGilder? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Consul? Just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps? Seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no, that was nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. See, yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm still scared of the dark now. I don't know me about yourself, but I find the darkness seems to make everything you hear and seem that much louder as well. Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe. Miss Lestrade. Did you hear something that night? Anything? An unusual noise, perhaps? Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring. But Jabbers, there's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp. What are foibles? What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue. Yes. What should we make of the last statement of hers? Okay. So, in darkness, you have heightened senses, which makes sense. This is true. When you are in darkness, all your senses go to max. And yes, you take any kind of noise you do not know as a danger. That is also normal. So, She couldn't go out. It's pitch black there. So all her senses were on alarm state. So therefore she would hear stuff. She would also listen more closely. I will go with the save. My lord, I believe the statement just made by this by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important, but all she said was that she heard nothing. Yet that's the thing, she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council. Nevertheless, I'm glad as a British person I dropped another racist comment. Miss Gina Lestrade. Or Lestrade. You will supplement your formal testimony by repeating the last statement, please. What? Supplement? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me. That's right. Assault the judge. Always a good move. I was straining me ears to work out what was going on, but I got ear was snoring. Yes. Time to make your mama jokes at the child. You are your mama. So you were straining to hear what was happening in the entire time since the moment you hit yourself? Not exactly, no. Sorry. Oh, there was no one in the cabin to start with. He could just push the cushion up and have a butchers to see what was what. But then he saw this swell getting on and got me edged down so he didn't notice me. And Mr. McGilded sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct? Yeah, would you Adam and Eve it? Eh? What a mug! Would you Adam and Eve it? Eh? What a mug! Okay. So then all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out of there as soon as I heard him leave, see? But would he? Not likely. Even though he stopped here and there and never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen. I'm driving his pigs to market. Driving his pigs to market, snoring like an old dog he was. Are there any conclusions we can draw from that, I wonder? Well, that all seems to make sense. You took your time reaching that conclusion, Council? Yeah. What was that from, Van6? Is he laughing? Very well. Very well then. Continue with the cross-examination. La. Oh, I hear this loud bang nearly jumped me out of my skin. Scream just came out.
Hold it!
Let's just keep pressing this. Falling to the floor. Being, I suppose, I don't remember so well. One years have made me jump. And let us scream. That's right. And then I felt pressure on the light of the sun. Suddenly burned the fin got up and up him. What a knot. Pretty come on the goose suddenly not to step the wind pretty knot. Yes, always. Stop the cushion quick touch of my chance, then I setting up the broken fall and I was the opposite. Just but then turns around and looks at me. Done too late. Never risk looking.
Hold it!
Hmm.
Hold it!
Okay. Blah 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 blah. I just try to find something to go on from here, but so far I don't see what.
Hold it!
Okay. Thank you, Bob. Hmm.
Hold it!
Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Like that?
Well, now.
Even if I go to chord records to here, that doesn't make any sense. Purring noises from your walls and purring voices and purring noises around you who is in the walls. Mm, well, the walls can purr now. Yes. I mean this, and then you press like pursue. People wonder why rent is so expensive. How many cats in your walls? chances, yes.
Hold it!
What a mock! She's cute. Oh wait, she's Scottish. I don't know. Scottish? Irish? I'm not sure. Scottish, Irish, British, it's almost the same thing. Everybody in the UK was offended by this. Fuck you're looking at, mate? What the fuck are you looking at, mate? I'm not good at making British accents. What a mock. All I could do was listen. I had to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave. I was waiting to jump out there as soon as I heard him leave, see? You got a license for that? You got a license for that? Some British breakfast. You want some beans? I never heard the door open. Beans and bread. You know. Beans. Sausages. You know. Beans. Sausages. Bacon. Maybe some sunny side up egg. Some gravy. And then don't forget the British tea with some scones. But why beans with everything though? That is hard to explain. That is a very old British thing to do. That people ate beans, and beans in tomato sauce is just an ancient old thing to eat, and everybody who grows up in England mostly knows this because they get this to eat. And because of that, even to this day, this beans, like these beans, which is basically just canned beans, nothing more. Because they have the British brand Heinz. And restaurants still buy like huge cans of Heinz beans, which everybody knows, and make food out of that. Just some bread, beans, sausages, bacon. It's like a typical British breakfast. And people love it. I will be honest. I don't like it. Like, you get some beans, some bacon, some sausages, gravy, some bread, and some hash browns. It's altogether good breakfast. Like, why would I eat this for breakfast? It's like, it's horrible. Like, it's so heavy. It makes sense for the times like over 100 years ago and even longer before that, because most jobs were all very physical back then. So it made much sense to eat a very calorie dense breakfast. All those things sounds dry as fuck. It's quite the opposite. It all is very greasy. So you have the beans in tomato sauce. Then you have the sausages, which will be greasy. Then you have the bacon, which is gonna be greasy. British bacon, you have to consider this. British bacon is not the same thing as American bacon. So in America, it's pretty normal to have like thin slices of bacon that they fry to crisp. In Britain, you slice thick slices of bacon and then you fry it, but not to a crisp. Just fry it, but not to a crisp. So it's very greasy, and it is texture-wise between like a piece of meat, like you have to chew it. It's not gonna just be crispy and easy to eat. It's more like something you have to chew, but it's also very greasy. And then you have hash browns, which are not greasy, but it's just like hash browns are just potatoes. That's it. I'm personally not a fan of British bacon at all, because like, if you make a thick cut of bacon, which is fine by itself, then I would prefer that you like fry it accordingly. Like, it doesn't have to be like a brick afterwards. Doesn't have to be, but still it should be fried well enough that I don't feel like I'm eating like half raw meat, because I'm one of those people who really hates when fat from meat is chewy. I hate that. It makes me almost vomit. I so hate that. So if you like, I like when fat content on meat is either boiled, and it's either fried or boiled so much that the fat either dissolved completely, or it is so soft that it basically just melts in your mouth. That's the way you should do it. But if you give me some meat and the fat is still there, and when I bite into it, it feels like some piece of rubber to bite on, and you cannot bite through it. You have like to literally swallow the entire thing, because you cannot like get it apart with your teeth. That is disgusting, and I hate that so much. Like, if you give me that, then either I will just not eat it, or I will spit it out. Like, in very rare cases when it's not much, I might swallow it, but I hate it. I hate this texture so much. It's the same reason why I struggle with steak. Because when steak is made and the fat content is like that, then I hate it. I will cut around and cut off every piece of fat on the steak just not to be, just so I don't have to put it in my mouth. Yes, this is my pet peeve, food that just stuck in my teeth. Main reason why I don't eat chocolate. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not going to get stuck in your teeth. It's just the pure texture that reminds you of you just took a piece of rubber into your mouth and bit on it. And you're supposed to like somehow make it smaller, but you cannot because it's not possible. And I don't understand how people are like, yeah, this is amazing. I guess that's probably also the reason I don't understand why people like eating collagen. You know? Where it's like, oh yeah, this has like some texture, you need to bite a little bit through it, and I'm like, ew. You know, an interesting food in visual novel. So we have a big big chunks of pork fat, pretty cheap. Oh, Vietnamese, not visual novel. Sorry. Vietnam. I'm sorry, Vietnam. We cut them into small squares and fry them. And fry them till they're crispy. Yeah. Oh, hi YouTube. We are not getting distracted or anything. Don't worry. Suddenly all the annoying texture is gone. Yeah. That's the other thing. You also can take like a piece of pork belly, like you said, but like not pure fat, but like pork belly where there is like meat and thick stripes of fat. And yes, you also can like cube that in small cubes and just put it on food. And it's fine. Even if there is like a bit of texture to it where you can chew it, it's fine, because you can actually eat it. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Like you can, like pork belly, you can even eat raw. Like, you know, bacon is nothing else than pork belly, right? And there is even edible pork belly that you can eat raw. You just cut it very thin and you can eat it like that. Most people like here, it's what you often find in small cabins when you go on hikes, when you get like a platter of meat and bread and cheese. They have like these thin cut edible raw bacons that you can just eat like that. And it's fine. It's absolutely fine because it's so thin that the fat content is not like that texture wise. You can easily eat it. That's how we make pork stew here. Small chunks of pork belly. Not sure about the raw pork. I think it is. I am not a butcher, so therefore I don't exactly know the procedure, but I think it is like a cut pork belly piece that is then, I think, smoked. So it's not completely raw, but it's like smoked. And then you can literally just take it and cut like thin pieces from it, and then you can eat it. Yet you should not eat raw chicken. That's a complete different topic there. So like I said, most likely the pork belly was smoked beforehand, I think. Because it's not like really raw meat, it's more dense. It's either aged, or it's aged and smoked, or it's just smoked. It's one of those three things. And yes, don't eat raw chicken, ever. It's a risk. It's dumb. It's even when you heard in Japan you can eat raw chicken, yes you can, but the government is already like, we should ban this. Just don't do it. It's the same reason why you shouldn't eat raw potatoes, right? So yeah. Okay. Okay, apparently we need to go in this direction. Miss Lestrade, what have you just told the court? It's clearly at odds with the facts. Ah! At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. Is he? I don't know. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zeeks realized it too. But I haven't realized it. Counsel, I must insist that you bolster your claim with evidence or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, whilst she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilder's snoring. But think, Ryu, think! I wonder if they're gonna continue Omni-Man, because I would be interested to see the rest. Something else she should have heard. There's something else she should have heard. Okay, let's see. What should she have heard? Show her these nuts, okay? Right, she said she heard only his snoring, but she should have heard Mason, right? Because he was literally also in the cabin, right? Wait, before I make the decision, I'm gonna save this. Despite that it just did not a small save there. I mean, everything else makes no sense, like evidence-wise, but she should have heard the other guy, right? Show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate on a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could have not failed to hear on that night in question. Sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person.
Take that!
Thrice fired Mason? Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus. Kinda true. order! Explain your reasoning, counsel! Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board of the omnibus, is that correct? Yeah, cause I was. I got while the driver was in the pub, didn't I? And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilder? That I was. Not a soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least not in plain sight. They were all... So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus that time. Did I not just say that as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack underneath the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure. And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its own journey. During which time did you not hear the door opening or closing at all? Nah, I never heard it. That was exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for this swell to leave. In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage? Oh. We all know the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestrade's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts. What if Mason was already dead, but he was actually in the compartment, not her? And then they took him out, but he fell on the floor when they took him out because he weighs to some degrees. And then they set him up, sitting there. But why? But then there would be blood in the compartment. I know. Like, the other part of the story also makes no sense. Both her hands are bloody because he fell on her, at least what she said. And then she went back into the compartment so she could escape. So why would the compartment be clean regardless? Like in both stories, the compartment should be bloody. Yes, this petty thieves statement was clearly flawed. Lord Van Six! Yes! He knew all too well there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestrade's statement. It would seem words of things are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statement are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more. Is that right? How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus? It makes no sense whatsoever. Oh, this girl is pickpocket. Let's not forget that. She didn't even say anything. I didn't want the judge to dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide lies. And neither can I. Mr. Foreman? I didn't want to charge the girl because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars. This is again a waste of time. Mr. Naruhodo, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty. Well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. His chin did drink the alcohol. He didn't. Yes, very refreshing. Yet. Wait, what are you playing at? Have you forgotten who you're working for, you useless Easterner Amadan? Amadan? What is ya Amadan? This carnage, it's perfect. Juror number 2 is the only one left. Mr. Naruhodo, the way this is going. A quick shower, be right back. Okay. I know, if we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGilde's innocence, the judge will rule, and we'll have lost. I very much wanted to believe the words of one London's most respected gentleman, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truths.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness' last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying? Counsel. I'm sorry, sir. Whatever do you mean? Counsel, I will not tolerate your attempt to prorogue my adjudication. Explain yourself at once. When the accused boarded the omnibus on that night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand. And yet, the victim's body was found inside the carriage. If these petty thieves' words are to believe, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was not already in there. There is not another entrance. He was put there after he died. It's the only logical explanation, actually. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection!
Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of that obviously in your last sentence? Oh, sir, Lord Van Seeks, there obviously is troubling me also. No. It's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? Well, obviously, okay, I'm going to load this. There was another entrance. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
Is it going? I wonder what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin on the other cabin other than the door. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one of the way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Is the omnibus on which the incident occurred? Where on earth is this entrance on which you propose the victim entered the cabin? There are only two ways. Either it's through here, or it's down there. What about... No. One of them is really up here, and the other one is down there. At this point, I can do not safe to save myself some time. Because it's clearly correct what I just did. So I will go first with this.
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I see, the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal is almost has me lost for words. However, the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim, but do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yeah, they let him in from above, but he fell to the floor, which makes sense, and then they put him back up on the seat. Yes, which has already been explained. As the sound of the victim falling from his seat having been assaulted with a dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat on the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witness described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry, in fact. Good gracious! Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment when the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. They were involved. And yet not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might the humble fellow make a wee comment here? Mr. McGill? To be sure now, the two fellas who were sat on the roof that testified for said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seemed to me, my lord, that this not much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would yous not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh, oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof?
You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were...
Oh. Yeah, they were involved.
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer?
What is going on? What's going on with this guy? You rotter, he said. You rotter. What are you insinuating? What are you doing, bro? What is this? You're like riding a horse?
This is flaming outrage. I've got a mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that some like me could have stabbed that man in its guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too, about you rotten scoundrel. What is going on? Order. This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once.
But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment.
Go ahead, Lord Van Six.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof.
Accuse? I never intended to.
It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. No, I was rushed to put the idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
What are you wasting time for? Go get them. Testify.
I thought there was something fishy about that the moment I laid eyes upon that fella. I have nothing to say to matter through now. No, one way or another. That's not what is even written there.
If there's a theft and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose it at once. What's happening, Mr. What is happening, Mr. Naruhodo? Spectators in the public gallery are in complete frenzy.
Oh, that was what I said, but whatever.
Mr. Fairplay, Mr. First.
My lord?
You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense.
Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this.
There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. If we were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear on that. But then you have no driver.
If anything had happened, we were sitting. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing. Neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
Why are you doing this? If you're sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof?
I must say that on the listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this opening roof deck without the other noticing forthwith.
That's right, you see?
We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two were in collusion with one another.
What? According to the investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common demons.
Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich.
Something doesn't feel right here. Try is going in our favor, or not. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. Blah.
we shall do that next time.